All right, buckle up because we're diving headfirst into a century of Naples, Florida history.
We're talking the whole shebang, newspaper clippings, old photos, you name it.
It's like unearthing a time capsule, and you know what? You're coming along for the ride.
And trust me, this isn't just about sunshine and beaches. This is about uncovering how Naples went from a sleepy little village to the bustling city it is today.
Oh, I knew you'd love this. Just picture it, the 1880s. We're talking a handful of families braving the wilds of Florida.
You were talking of a time when Naples Bay wasn't a postcard. It was the only way in or out. That dock, that was their lifeline.
Which makes that 600-foot pier they built back in 1888 even more impressive, don't you think? A 16-room hotel right alongside, welcoming folks arriving by steamship. Talk about ambition.
It goes to show that even then, they knew access was everything. But that whole balancing act, that struggle to grow without losing what makes Naples, well, Naples, that's a recurring theme.
And it only gets more complicated from there.
Oh, absolutely. Just wait till we get to the Roaring '20s.
Yeah.
Think 1923, Naples becomes a real incorporated town, even snags the title of county seat for the brand new Collier County.
And boom, the population explodes. Over 1,200 residents. Can you imagine?
Yeah.
From a handful to over 1,000 in just a few decades.
And with that many folks around, well, things are bound to get interesting. Take that two-cell jail they built in 1929, for instance.
Ah, yes, the infamous Paw Paw Patch. What a quaint name for, shall we say, a necessary establishment.
Right. But even a small detail like that little jail tells a big story. Naples was shedding its sleepy skin. It was growing up, facing a whole new set of challenges. And that brings us to, arguably, one of the biggest turning points in Naples history. The Naples Plan.
The Naples Plan. Now that has a ring to it. Sounds almost like something out of a spy movie.
Well, in a way, it was about strategy. But instead of secret agents, we're talking parks and neighborhoods. You see, after the war, everyone and their cousin wanted a piece of paradise.
Makes sense. Sunshine and beaches. Who could resist? But something tells me not everyone was thrilled about trading in small-town vibes for city living.
You're right on the money there. That's where this Naples Plan comes in. Think of it as their way of steering the ship, making sure they could handle the growing pains, like one of their big moves, developing Aquilane Shores, the first subdivision in Naples.
From sprawling orange groves to cul-de-sacs. I bet that was a big adjustment for some folks.
You can say that again. It was a sign of the times, though, for sure. And while they were busy building houses, they had to figure out how to handle all the tourists, too. Remember those motels popping up left and right?
Oh, yeah, like those roadside attractions you'd see on a postcard.
Ah.
I bet those walls have seen some things.
No doubt about it. But here's what gets me. Even with all these folks coming in, the Naples Plan, it kept saying, hold on, we need green spaces, parks, all that natural beauty. They were planting the seeds for what we see in Naples today.
Smart cookies. They knew Naples was something special, something worth protecting. Kind of like that story about them turning the Storter family home into the first recreation center.
Now that's what I'm talking about. Honoring the past, embracing the future, all in one go. Taking a familiar place, a place with roots, and turning it into a hub for the whole community.
It's those little touches that make a city, don't they? But let's be real, this whole balancing act with growth and keeping Naples' charm, that's got to be a tough one. So what happened next? Did they pull it off?
Well, let's just say every growing city has its share of hiccups. But you got to hand it to Naples. They weren't afraid to get ahead of the game. They were learning from the past, trying to stay one step ahead.
And they put their money where their mouth was. We're talking the Naples Beautification Council, a real focus on keeping those natural resources safe, even this long-term plan with a title that practically screams, "We got this." Ready for this? Preserving Naples, a vision plan to keep the best of the past while building a better community for the future. Now try saying that 3 times fast.
It's a mouthful, that's for sure.
Yeah.
But it shows how seriously they took it. And you know what else I found interesting? That little tidbit about Naples winning an award for having the best tasting tap water.
Okay, when I first read that, I thought, really? Best tasting water. But it makes sense when you think about it. They were going for gold in every aspect of city living, even down to the water. For a city that clearly values its history, Naples isn't afraid to have a little fun.
That's for sure.
Case in point, the stiletto sprint.
Oh, you're talking about those high heels, huh?
Yeah. Who knew high heels could be so, competitive?
It's such a Naples thing, This city, it embraces the unexpected. Can you imagine going back to those Paw Paw Patch days and telling someone, just wait, One day, folks will be racing down the street in high heels.
They'd probably think we'd gone crazy.
Out of their minds.
But speaking of iconic Naples landmarks, we got to talk about the Naples Pier. I mean, this thing's practically a legend.
It's seen it all, that's for sure.
Talk about standing the test of time.
From a simple little dock to, well, what it is today. A symbol of Naples, wouldn't you say?
Absolutely. It's seen hurricanes, seen the population boom. Heck, it's even seen those stilettos struck by. But there it still stands.
Holding strong. A designated historical site, linking the Naples of yesterday to the Naples of today. It really makes you wonder, you know. What's next for a city that holds on to its roots while constantly looking ahead? What's the next page in the Naples story?
Well, that's the beauty of it, right? It's still being written. And thanks to this deep dive, we've gotten a sneak peek behind the curtain.
From those early days on the bay to the boom times to that award-winning tap water.
Hey, don't underestimate good water. But you're right. This has been quite a journey. We've gone from those first families to high heel races all in an afternoon's work.
Time flies when you're uncovering history.
It really does. And for those listening, hey, we hope you've enjoyed this little trip down memory lane. Who knows, maybe it'll inspire you to uncover some hidden stories in your own neck of the woods. Because just like Naples, every town, every city has a story to tell, so get out there and discover them.